A new focus on hypersonic glider weapons, after a reportedly successful Chinese test, is helping drive an arms race that is eclipsing hopes of a return to disarmament by the world's major powers. The Chinese test on the 27th of July, first reported by the Financial Times, involved putting into orbit a nuclear-capable glider, traveling at 5 times the speed of sound, which then re-entered the atmosphere and performed some turns on its way to a target. The test suggested that China was further ahead with the technology than was previously known, and despite Chinese denials that it had tested such a weapon, the Biden administration has said it is concerned with the development. Russia, which has already deployed its version of a nuclear-capable hypersonic glide vehicle, the Avant-Garde, announced it had conducted exercises in recent days to defend against hypersonic weapons. The US has stepped up spending on its own hypersonic program which, unlike its Chinese and Russian counterparts, is designed for conventional warheads only and is still in its testing phase. The Pentagon announced on Thursday that the latest test was called off after the failure of the rocket booster used to accelerate the weapon to hypersonic speeds. The cluster of news stories about hypersonic gliders has added to the impression that the world is facing a totally new type of weapon with new capabilities. But all intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, travel at multiples of the speed of sound, and so the capability is almost as old as nuclear weapons themselves. What makes hypersonic glide vehicles distinctive is that they are more maneuverable than the warheads on an ICBM, and therefore potentially more likely to defeat ballistic missile defense, BMD, systems. Some ballistic missile warheads have fins and can maneuver to a limited extent, but a glider can perform more pronounced turns, banking against the atmosphere. Jeffrey Lewis, a professor at the Middlebury Institute of International Studies at Monterey, said what was most remarkable about the reported Chinese test was that it put a glider into orbit before bringing it down through the atmosphere. Such a weapon could in theory be used to attack the US from an unexpected and unpredictable direction, from over the South Pole for example, evading American BMD interceptors facing north. It is thought likely that China is working on this technology to ensure that the US military never reaches the position of thinking it could launch a nuclear attack on China and then destroy all the missiles China fired back in response before they landed. China has also built a lot more silos for ICBMs with the same goal in mind. While hypersonic gliders are receiving a lot of the attention recently, because of their relative novelty, many nuclear weapons experts argue that ICBMs equipped with multiple warheads in their own re-entry vehicles are a more effective way of countering missile defense. Proliferation experts say there is pressure from the military establishment of all the major powers to hype the threat from adversaries and spend more on all the new weapon systems available. The US leaked reports about the Chinese test have come while the Biden administration is preparing its nuclear posture review, and there is pressure building from the Pentagon to maintain the ambitious modernization program started by the Obama and Trump administrations.